Gonzalez, yeah, in Omaha, Nebraska. He says, my dad was a quiet man. He spoke with a soft voice, never raising his tone. Even when he wanted to make a point, he walked this earth silently, without dignity, but with a steadiness of confidence. For one to be heard, one does not need to have a loud voice. One can be heard by one's deeds. Dad likes working with his hands. I remember that he liked working on his car. If he was not working on his car, he would be tinkering with some gadget or be working on the scooter. This love of being a hands-on fellow must have rubbed off on me, which in a way prepared me to cope with life in the US. The lifestyle here involves a lot of do-it-yourself work. Throughout the years, I have been able to replace a garage door opener, replace a garbage disposer, replace a motor of the exhaust fan, change the engine oil and oil filter, paint, install wood flooring, and etc. Dad was so dependable, and he was always willing to help. I had this car which was barely a year old, and I couldn't understand why it kept on stalling. He came as he always did when I needed help. He raised the hood of the car, looked at this, and that then went to the opening to the gas tank. Then he said, "This is your problem, your gas tank cap." I was skeptical since I just replaced the original one with a cap that had a lock. Apparently, when it would rain, the water would drip on the keyhole, then find its way to the gas tank. Water in your engine is not good, and that would explain the malfunctioning performance. My dad was a gentleman. He never spanked me except once when I was about 5. But I cannot recall what my infraction was, but it must have been quite grave. The way he administered the strike was like being hit with a feather. But up to this day, I recall crying like when mom would spank me with a belt. But up to this day, I have never hit either of my kids. I have always been amazed that my dad commuted to work on a scooter, leaving early in the morning and returning in the evening. He braved the perils of the roads of Manila, brought about by the inadequacies of other drivers. I never heard him complain about work. He always looked as fresh and positive when he got home as when he left for his job. He was a good provider. His persistence, perseverance, and bright outlook must have helped me cope with the demands of the study of medicine, which required a lot of those same qualities. One's importance only becomes significant when one is emulated. I thank you for being a great role model and influencing me in the ways that you would prepare me for life. We will all miss you. May you rest in peace. This was from Uncle Louie. I think next will be Richard. Next will be Carla reading Richard and Christy, the grandkids of my lolo.
Morning, everybody. This is from Joe's cousin, Richard. Even though I didn't know my grandpa as well as most, I was lucky enough to see and get to know him when I was a young boy in grade school. He came to Nebraska to visit, for a visit with Grandma, Tito Nolly, and my cousin Joe. I remember pushing him in his wheelchair everywhere we went because I was a designated navigator. Whether it be at the mall, the grocery store, the zoo, on vacation, or at the park, I was the official pusher. It didn't matter how steep the incline was, or how fast the descent seemed, or how narrow the aisles were, I would push Grandpa. I really enjoyed doing it because that's how I got to know him. He would tell me stories all the time. He was always happy, joking, and smiling. He would always tell me a joke to make me laugh. Even in the mornings, he would already be up making cereal for breakfast and cutting up bananas. Every time I would cut the banana and put in cereal, he would say to me, "Richard, you know why I like bananas?" "I don't know, Grandpa, why?" I would say. And he joked, "I like bananas because they have no bones." That's what I really like about him, and that's what I'm going to remember the most about him. I know that Grandpa lived a good life, and he was very proud of his family. He gave me a great dad, a wonderful aunt, and uncle. I am very lucky to be his grandson, and I will always remember him for the good laughs he always gave me. To me, Grandpa was a gentle man, an honest man, and a good man. Even though I didn't know him well, I feel like I did because of my own dad. I wasn't raised like he was, but I know that he can tell that he tried to raise me to be the best person I could be, because that's how he was brought up. Thank you, Grandpa, for my dad. Thank you for giving me a good father who instilled the same qualities as you did in him. For this, I will always remember you and thank you. We will miss you very, very much. From Christy. For my brother and I, our fond memories of our grandpa came when he made a very special trip to the States. He came to visit us in Omaha, Nebraska, when Richard and I were still very young. We were excited and ready to spend time with him. It was wonderful and it was special. Even though that was years and years ago, we have memories and stories of him to laugh about, smile about, and reminisce about over and over again. We did the great things Grandpa get to do with their grandkids. He cheered us on from the sidelines at our tennis matches. We went to the zoo, we took him to the park, we sat around the dinner table every night as a family. We watched movies together on the couch. He greeted us every morning when we come downstairs because he'd always get up before us. We loved our grandpa and he knew that we loved us too. Grandpa was a great person who raised 3 amazing